but
We'll
will it pick it up over from
Yes,
here?
pick it up,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
The mic. This is for the main guy.
Okay, I'm
We
live.
secondary, not mine. People want to listen to
Okay,
you.
live.
But
Okay.
you can look with
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of AccidentalMuslims.com. Bum, 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 bum. I just wanted to do that, Thank you very much. Today we have a very good and very important guest, Mr. Amr Salie. Welcome to AccidentalMuslims.com. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Assalamu alaikum, uncle. It's very nice to be here.
Alhamdulillah. Aisha. Were you
Assalamualaikum.
quite
Very
excited
I
about
was
this?
very excited to interview you.
Granted.
Lovely stuff. So shoot off the first question.
Okay, so tell us, we're gonna just ask you a little bit about yourself. Who are you? How old are you? Where do you come from? You can just tell us about you a little bit.
So, auntie, my name is Amr Salie. I'm 13 years old, and I'm the author of 2 books,
Okay.
The Mothman Files and Blameless.
Lovely stuff. And where do you stay? What's your family makeup? Mother, father? How does it work?
I stay at Sunflare.
Okay. And school? Which school are you at?
Digital school, uncle.
Digital school.
Yes, uncle.
Okay, well, that's something where we can start with.
Okay, yeah, do you want to tell us?
Tell us a bit about digital school. What's that about?
So, uncle, digital schooling is basically all my lessons on all the schoolwork is already uploaded onto the internet. So I just have to do the lessons, and then the exams will be preloaded.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
So
when you do...
do this from, so you do it from home?
Yes, auntie.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So when or how long have you been doing this? Have you
I
never been
think-
to normal school, or have you been to...
No, I've been to normal school, uncle, when
Okay.
I was younger. I think I've only been doing it for 3-4 years, uncle.
And do you enjoy this?
Yes,
method of
uncle.
edu-
It's much better. I prefer it than normal school, uncle.
Yes, it is. And how did this sort of schooling influence you in becoming an author? Or has it, or were you an author already before that? How did it work?
Well, uncle, before I started to try to write already when I was smaller, but when I actually decided to proper write a book, it's when I read a book. Went to the library and I got a book by R.L. Stein. It was in the Goosebumps series. It was called The Headless Ghost. So I really liked that book, and I thought it was a great book at the time. So I thought that I also wanted to give a try to writing. So then I started making my own books using staples, and I would staple blank pages together with the book. But then I decided to try writing a proper book. It was never meant to be published. It was more just for myself. So that was when I wrote Blameless. I wrote on my phone, uncle.
On your phone, wow. And what was that story about, you remember?
Uncle, Blameless is basically about, it deals with mental disorder, and it's about a character who gets kidnapped. It's an interior decorator who goes to a place and then he gets kidnapped.
Wow.
How old were you when you started writing?
11, auntie.
Okay. And how old are you now?
I'm 13, auntie.
13 years old. Okay.
Wow.
And then you had a second book as well.
Yes, auntie, that one was called The Mothman Files.
And what's that about?
The Mothman Files is based off the Mothman mythical legend of a big moth-like creature that is in West Virginia in Point Pleasant. So it's based off, the thing is, there was a waste leakage, a toxic waste leakage there back in the day. And so they based it off that there was a big creature, there were sightings of a big flying bird thing, and they named it the Mothman. So that's like a big thing there.
Wow. So
Sorry, I'm just like, how did do these ideas just pop in your mind? You just wake up one day and then there's a new idea. How does this creative thing happen?
Well, auntie, sometimes it just comes to me normally when I'm just doing anything, but sometimes I also get dreams about things. So then that's how I wrote Blameless. I had a dream about the story.
wow.
And the title? Blameless. That is.
I made that up as I was writing the book, uncle.
Phew. So what's your favorite part of writing? What excites you about putting a story together?
I like making the story in my head. I like thinking of it.
And maybe let's just take one step back before you write. What other hobbies do you have? Are you a creative person, or what sort of person do you think you?
Uncle,
are.
I like gaming. I do like writing and obviously reading, uncle. But I like to also, I'm learning how to script. Well, I'm learning more cybersecurity, uncle.
Oh, okay. What does that entail?
Cyber
Similar to your story scripting, or how does it work? Completely
No,
different
Uncle.
genres, or what's
As
happening
in
there?
coding language, Uncle.
Coding language. Okay, so that's a 21st century language, and how does that getting in this? I mean, you said you go to digital school, and you're doing coding now and all that. That's very modern, sort of very contemporary situation, or very context to be living in, so to speak. How do you use what you're learning at school, on your digital school, and with your coding, and how does it help you as an individual at home, or with your friends, or with your family?
So, Uncle, basically, if I'm homeschooled or digital schooled, then I can learn the normal schooling system, but also I can learn other things. So I can learn what I want to learn. So I can do external courses also, and it benefits me as in a way as something I'm passionate. I'm very passionate in cybersecurity mainly.
Is it okay? And where did that come from?
I'm not really sure, Uncle.
You just read about it, or how does it come?
I think I originally read up about it, Uncle, or it's maybe it came from games.
Games, okay. So I hear you're writing games, you're building games, or what was it? Developing games, or
Uncle, I'm learning to develop a game.
are you learning to develop? You haven't done one yet, am I?
No, Uncle, I've made little 2D games, but I'm trying to make a 3D game, but I'm still learning how. I'm learning C++ also to make it.
Oh, fantastic. Asha, I don't know what you were
Okay,
doing
we
when
should-
you were 13. What were you doing when you were 13 years old, man?
Not this.
Nothing. Did they have computers around?
I don't think I'm
Well, I can tell you, I wasn't. I think at 13. I can tell you that much. But it's very. I mean, I'm sitting here. I'm very inspired by someone so young taking the initiative to pursue writing, to pursue coding, and for me, I think if you're looking at this in the context of maybe everyday sort of 13-year-old go to school, normal school, so to speak. Perhaps is this something you think more children is going to be doing down the line?
I mean, Uncle, potentially more children that want to learn different stuff than what they can learn in the normal schooling system. Unless the schooling system adapts to children's needs and they're able to learn more and they're able to be tailored to what they want to learn at school.
Okay, that's fantastic. And I just want to latch on to something you said earlier to Uncle Khalil, was staying relevant in the 21st century, or something like that. You said earlier when you came in, you had an interview, or you spoke to the Department of Education earlier, or
Yes,
what
Uncle.
was that about? Maybe you want to tell us, how can we stay relevant in this modern times?
Well, Uncle, that was for the schooling system, but for personal use, I think it's more important to realize that everybody probably has a phone or a computer at this point, but a lot of people don't know how to use them properly and how to stay safe on it. Like, one of the best examples is public Wi-Fi, that everybody loves public Wi-Fi. If you say, oh, there's free Wi-Fi, you can immediately connect. But public Wi-Fi is also dangerous, because if you're not secure on public Wi-Fi, then somebody can easily just take all of your information because they're connected to the same network as you. So it's mainly, that's why people use things like VPNs and other stuff to basically they hide their online footprint.
Oh, wow. That's something new that I learned. Right?
Yes.
I'm connecting at Nando's next week. When I go to Nando's, is that a dangerous thing to do? Connecting to a public. I mean, you go to Nando's, there's free Wi-Fi there. Is that what you're referring to, or those sort of things?
I mean, potentially, if there's a lot of people connected to the same network, then it's easier for somebody to just connect, and then they can, if they know how, they know what they're doing, then they can take the other people's information.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I know nothing about coding and any cybersecurity, anything. So can I quickly just go back to the writing, because I know a little bit about that. So I just want to ask you, so as an author, when you are writing, do you have your own, what's your process like? So must no one disturb you? Is there a certain place that you need to write in? How does that process go?
So, Auntie, what I mostly do is I turn off the lights, and then I like to sit in the dark and maybe listen to music or something to really get inspiration going or the imagination going.
And then it just all comes to you.
Yeah, but I think the worst part of writing a book is the white dragon, as they call it. It's just a big blank page. So it's very unmotivating when you like to look at what you're writing and you see the white dragon, as they say. That's why the more pages you fill in, that's why they call defeating the white dragon.
And how long did it take you to write your first book?
I think it took me 3 months, uncle.
3 months. And did you ever get a stage where you took that white dragon, crumbled it up and threw it away, and to start over, or did you just come?
No, I think once, uncle.
Once. You okay?
And then the book got published. And how did that feel?
So auntie, I never knew it was gonna get published in the when I wrote it. It was just more of a they were made. It was made. There was originally just one copy of it made for me. That was a surprise for my birthday. So then I never knew it was really gonna get published. It was a big surprise mainly, and I didn't really. I was very excited, but I was also nervous to think that something that I wrote was gonna be accessed to multiple people.
Wow. And you've obviously had a book launch. How was that? I mean, to see people acknowledge your effort, your writing. How did that feel?
It was very nice, uncle. It felt very good to think that something that people were actually excited about something that I wrote. So I think it was a very good experience.
Nice.
And with all of the things you do you have any like role models, any mentors that you look up to?
The mentors, not really.
Okay, and any role models?
Role model, I don't really know, auntie.
Okay.
So outside of book writing and games, what sort of things do you enjoy doing as a 13-year-old?
I think I just like experimenting with things randomly. I like to look for stuff. I like for random things. I'm sure everyone likes free random things.
No, definitely. That's an interesting way of putting it, mashallah. I mean, we're sitting in the library, academia library, lots of books around. What's your favorite book that you read?
The favorite book, uncle, I think it's Oral Science. I think it's called. I know it's a Horrorland, the Mosque of Horrors. I think, uncle, by Oral Stein.
Okay. And what about that book just makes it something that you enjoy?
I thought it was very unique because I still remember one of the key pages that I read is that the main character walked into a mask store and they noticed that all of the masks were real human faces. And then they started, the lip skin started saying, "You're next," constantly.
That's quite vivid. Wow. Sure.
What do you so when you think of the older you, what do you want to do one day? Do you want to continue to author more books? Do you want to go into coding? I think you said. What is it that you want to do when you're older?
Auntie, I think that it's changed a lot over the time because I didn't really know what I want to do, but I think now I do want to continue writing books. I don't really want to stop, but I think I want to start learning more in cybersecurity.
Okay.
Fantastic. So, where do you think that you want to, what's the next step for anybody? Let's say there's a 13-year-old out there. They want to start writing a book. What advice would you give them for starting their own adventure in writing books?
I think, uncle, first of all, the first rule should be know what you're writing, know who you're writing for, know your characters, know what characters you're going to put in, know the genre that you're going to write in. I think don't give up is also a very important part because you can just have creative block and then you just decide to give up. But I think the fourth one is just make sure that what you're writing is something that you enjoy writing.
That's quite important. Always enjoyment will fall that white dragon up quickly, eh?
Yeah, what's regards to your exploration into cybersecurity? Have you found a need that you could potentially improve on? Or is there maybe a gap that you see?
When it comes to cybersecurity, there's still a lot that I must still learn. That's why I'm thinking that I'm starting to learn more about it because I don't know everything. I know far from everything. So I'm trying to learn more on how to do things that I couldn't previously do.
Well, that's very important. I mean, the fact that, Amr, I'm here, it's very similar, sorry, I called you Amir. That's important. You have to inform yourself, you have to equip yourself, I think. And I'm listening to Amr here, it's inspiring to listen how he's actually making that effort to equip himself. He's not just sitting back and expecting it to come. So I can just, if I had a hat on, I'd tap it now for you and say, well done. Just listen. Good one, man. Good one. Because it's inspiring when I see young people as well, Aisha, taking initiative. It's not every day you see a 13-year-old actually writing books. Not one book, one off book. He had a second book as well, and now he's venturing into a different digital cyber security, which is something quite admirable. I mean, normally we ask a question. What inspires you about youth? But in this case, I'm going to turn that around now. I'm assuming the two people at the back is your parents. What inspires you about your parents?
I think mainly my mother and my father. They both the fact that they raised and because of them that I'm able to do what I can do now. Because they cared so much that they let me do what I need to do instead of just saying like shutting down my ideas. They accepted them, so that's very admirable.
No, I think it's quite beautiful. Listen to us all. Listen to all parents as well. Nurture. I think an example from the Seerah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that a lot of the young people that was around him, or rather he surrounded himself with a lot of young Sahaba, and each one he identified each one's unique trait and skill, and he used to nurture that and direct them. So what you're saying, what your parents did with you, is supporting your talent, supporting your thing. Actually comes from Sunnah, subhanallah. It's something we should not underestimate as well. So to your parents, I'm going to tap his cap here now. Subhanallah. Aisha, anything else on your side?
Yes. Do you have because I know obviously you read lots of books and things, do you have any favorite quotes or anything that you'd like to share?
Favorite quotes?
Yeah. Or favorite passage from something? Anything that inspired you from a book? No?
I mean, I'd like to say the You're Next.
Okay.
I think that's mainly the thing, because that's what stuck with me for like all these years. I haven't read the book in a long time, but that specific page, I think I remember that paragraph. It's just the person that walked into the mask store and the lip skin started talking to him.
I think we're not going to be that image now in our head. Who was the author of that book again?
R.L. Stein, uncle.
R.L. Stein. I think I'm going to go to see the library. Yeah. I'm going to Google it later.
It was the Haunted Mask. The Haunted Mask.
The Haunted Mask. Okay, no, lovely stuff.
The Horrorland edition of the Haunted Mask.
You like horror stuff?
Yes, uncle. It's my favorite genre.
Your favorite genre?
Everything.
What intrigues you about the horror story?
I don't really know. I just like the scary things. It's not that I'm really get scared of anything besides spiders.
No,
But
okay, that's interesting. I'm not really a horror fan, I must be honest with you. But it's, I suppose anything, everybody has a favorite. I think you indicated your first book had some, was there some horror overtones in there as well? Or?
the first book was meant to originally be a horror, but it leaned towards more thriller.
Okay.
Tell me, are there any challenges that you face that you feel that you overcome every day?
Creative block. Mostly, that's basically the only thing, the real thing that stopped me from that. And it's clear that I'm wearing glasses because I can't really see. My glasses is outdated and I have 20 centimeters vision without it, so I'm very, very nearsighted. So I think visually it's a big challenge considering glasses is expensive.
And so that challenge, how are you just positive about it? How do you just continue?
But I just move on with it. I think there's no point in complaining about things because why complain about something if you can rather do something else? There's no point in complaining if you can be doing other things.
That's amazing. And then on top of that, are you busy with the third book, or you already have a third book?
Well, my third book is basically a joint collaboration between me and Yusuf Daniels. It's called Blameless in a Cup.
Oh wow!
It's
so
basically
we interviewed him previously also.
so basically it's blameless, but with more of a South African twist. It's for like the youth of South Africa. It's something that at least can give like the youth today something to be inspired by then, other than just watching all the crime and all the bad things happening. Something that can inspire them to also, if they are into literature, to maybe that'll inspire somebody to write.
Brilliant. What do you prefer, holding an old-fashioned book, or are you one of those Kindle e-book fan?
Well, I feel like old-fashioned book is that has to be a vintage now at this point, because nobody really. It's just much easier if you want to read a book. You can't just you Google it, or so you buy it online. But I feel like an old-fashioned book is just cool.
Yeah. Oh, lovely stuff. I also like
It feels like it's a collectible since
Yeah.
nobody else uses it.
No, fantastic, man, fantastic. So I just want to ask a question that we asked you a bit of so serious questions here, but there's a question that Aisha likes to ask our guests. Do you eat pizza?
Yes, Uncle.
You like
I'm sure
pizza?
Everyone does. Everyone does.
Now the question Aisha wants to ask you is,
If somebody
Do
doesn't
you
like pizza,
take-
they're soulless.
oh, okay, now this answer is going to become even more intriguing, eh?
Yeah.
Do you
Quote,
like,
unquote.
do you like pineapple on your pizza?
Uncle, I don't like to get so political on.
Well, Aisha would like an answer.
I think pineapple on pizza is fine. I know that it's not good to get into politics but I think pineapple on
But
pizza
it's
is fine.
It's not amazing.
Please
yeah.
answer yes.
Better without it.
I'd go for either or.
Either.
To stay neutral on the
Okay,
matter.
Okay.
I
I think that's certainly the most unique answer we've had to that question.
I prefer to stay neutral on the matter.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. I see a character in the book somewhere. Having
What's your
nice
favorite?
measure.
What's your favorite food?
Burger, auntie.
What's the matter? Aisha? That
I don't
answer
know,
stuck there
that's,
with
yeah, I think that made everyone happy. That
Yeah.
answer made everyone happy.
Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. You think about
I
it?
think is the idiot like we can answer parents as well if you are willing to answer. But any advice, because obviously you've raised a phenomenal young man, mashallah, and to other parents, because obviously interests are unique, they are different, and for other parents who have children who do have different kind of interests, what kind of advice would you give?
I
That's you.
would say that just nurture. Actually listen to them when they're speaking, when they are just in their zone, when they are playing on the iPads, whether they are building blocks. You won't always have children that's tech savvy. You won't always have children that wants to be software engineers or software developers. You might be looking at the architect. You might be looking at somebody that doesn't have interest in math at all. Often Amr says, why do people still do algebra if they're not going to be using it? So I think that it's important for parents to identify what and it is that your child is passionate about, and even more so to what it is about, what they will become someday, and more what they're on, what's happening now currently. Are they happy? Are they mentally stable? Are they emotionally happy? Are they hiding when they need to go to school? Do they really want to go there? Is there anything that's hindering them? I think that you need to make sure that the children are happy. Everything else will follow. Because when you find out that unique trait, what they are passionate about, it's very easy to nurture. But it's for us as parents not to just leave things up to educators and to whoever's raising them, but to have an active responsibility into raising them ourselves. It's so crucial, especially in today's times, and really to nurture that and protect it and make sure that their roots and upbringing is correct, the principles, where they come from, who they are, so then wherever they go in the world, that they will remain grounded, alhamdulillah. So alhamdulillah, we have 4 sons, and it is a challenge in terms of none of them are the same.
Yeah.
They have different interests, but yet I try to give my utmost, I do my utmost best to say that I give my haq to each one of them. So when I see that, for example, Mujahid, our eldest son, he's 16 now, they debate often. So it is a developmental stage. It's a stage that I encourage to nurture. They critique each other because that's what's going to happen outside in the real world. but not in a destructive way. It's always to build up each other. So he's more hidden in society, and inshallah, one day when he decides, listen, I am ready, and come to me and says, Mom, this is what I want to do, which is already going his own path, then that is what I have to nurture. Hamza, in actual fact, our 8-year-old came to me, I think about a week and a half ago, and just like out of the blue, his dad was so worried that he can't read, but I have picked up, Hamza's got severe anxiety in actual fact, and I think it's so imperative for parents to realize that our children is not, they're just not robots, that we need to connect with them on another level. I just told my husband earlier that our youngest son, 3 years old, Ayman, going to be complete character on his own, because they call him 4.0, because he's literally our fourth son, and he's got a bit of everything, of every one of them, and all of them are characters. So I think that that's just for me a message for parents, not to say, listen, you need to become a lawyer, you need to become a doctor. When they were all born, alhamdulillah, I'm just grateful to have them here. With difficult pregnancies, they're all premature babies, and you put your trust in Allah, and I think that's most important.
So your mother mentioned 2 things that you want to latch on to, and do you have any favorite Quranic ayah, any story that you feel connects you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
I think the first ayah of Wal Asr Uncle.
What about it you appreciate?
I like the meaning, it's based off time, but I remember the first ayah's name, it basically means it's saying, we are all losers except the ones who are praising Allah. That's
something to reflect on. It's something, I was listening to a lecture as well on that particular surah, and it's one of the shortest surahs, but if you reflect upon it, like you indicated now, the Sheikh was mentioning, it leaves a great message of how to live your life as a Muslim, as a human being as well. So I think sometimes they say dynamite comes in small packages, and those short ayahs, we often underestimate the value of it. Subhanallah.
I think I'm very interested in, so when are you at your happiest? What makes you feel happy?
Multiple things on there. It's not really just one thing. Anything can make. Maybe one day I'm like, wow, I really want some Burger King, and then I get the Burger King, and then I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay. I love that one actually.
Yeah, I think anything has the potential to make you happy. Any moment can make you happy, and I'm certainly happy sitting here. I'm very optimistic seeing the youth. I haven't met your brothers. Your mom mentioned four of them, and she mentioned something quite interesting. You guys critique each other without destruction. What was the word was used? That's quite nice for siblings. How is that dynamic in the home with your brothers? You've written a book, each one developing on a different path. You guys, your mom said you guys debate. How does that help you in your creativity? Does it help you in your creativity and maybe just in learning life lessons as well?
I mean, it would happen anyway. I mean, it's brothers' jobs to be annoying to one another, but it's more criticism in general, and I think it helps just with arguing and debating in general. It's just a good skill to have, because basically in anything one of us does, one of the brothers is gonna be there, and then they're gonna criticize you on what you do, and then you get into a debate, and then eventually afterwards, then you have something else to do, and then it finishes. It's not really destructive, but it's I guess it's just a decent pastime, because you never know. You can open the fridge, and then the fridge will knock the cupboard, and then it will spark a whole argument about history.
But you know what? It's so beautiful to listen to that story, and reflecting on my upbringing as well. Is your brothers or your siblings, whether it's brothers or sisters, they're actually your first preparation for the world out there, because it tells you that there are people that's going to be different to you. There are people that may not agree with you as well, and it's the way you interact. I think many years ago when we well, the MSA, we had a conference reviving the Islamic spirit, and one of the speakers was Sulaiman Mullah Sheikh, Maulana Sheikh Sulaiman Mullah. He's from Johannesburg, if I'm correct, and he gave a talk called The Etiquette of Disagreement. And he says we all will disagree, we will all not like what happened, but it's the way we go about doing things. So I think that's where the lesson I take out of this nice brotherly banter, so to speak, sibling rivalry, whatever you want to term it. I think if you reflect upon it, it's actually something you can turn into purpose, so to speak.
And you have.
and it seems that you have a correct mindset. I think that's what's impressive at the moment, is the mindset, and the depth of the answer that he's given us. I'm sure the listeners out there will be inspired by what you're actually saying here today, because for a 13-year-old, often you hear the thing, oh, these millennials, oh, these young children of today, they don't know what they're doing. But just listening to your answers, I have some optimism, and you're renewing my optimism for the future generations.
Yeah.
Another question we usually ask our guests, and is what are you most grateful for today?
Yeah, I think my family. Definitely.
Beautiful.
I just want to add something. So you're in the space now where you're doing creative writing and coding, and at some point you might be forced to choose either path. I just want to tell you that that's actually not necessary. Okay, so I think I read an article where in the year 2030, a robot will actually write New York's bestseller. So marrying the two is definitely the way to go. So the sooner you can draw that link, the better.
Shukran, uncle.
Beautiful. We're asking the last question.
No. So, not yet.
Not yet.
Must do that.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want to do?
That's up to you. No, you
Okay, so I'm not going to ask it the way we usually do, but if there's any last words of advice that you could give, and I think particularly the youth, what would that be?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that don't do something that you don't enjoy. There's no point in trying to strive for a job or trying to strive to major or get a certificate in or to study something that you don't enjoy. Because if you don't enjoy the work, then the work is just, you're not going to be able to do the work, right? And it's just, I feel like that everybody should be doing something that they at least enjoy. And also, I'd like to add that I'd like to say, uphold the rule of law and stay hydrated.
Definitely, there's your final beautiful answers. Certainly bringing a character to this. I really appreciated your time.
Yeah.
Aisha, any closing
Sure,
words?
uncle.
Thank you very much. You are an inspiration to all of us, and I'm sure to everyone watching. And thank you very much for your time.
Doing so much out there.
Sure. All the best to you in your career. We'll keep a keen eye on you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, your 4 brothers, your parents, your family, and all the characters in your book. I hope maybe we can be in one of the books. I don't know.
Shukran, uncle.
Yeah. I'll be the guy that likes the pineapple on the pizza. Shukran to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All the best.